want what the project to do is to create a new cultural Silk Road in America. Make communities become caravanserais, places where they are safe havens for artists from Muslim countries to come and share their work, to come and explore, to come and stimulate curiosity, to engage new directions in conversation and thought. Places for moments of discovery. The way the project works is that each year a different Muslim country, Muslim-dominant country, is selected, and we feature 2 different music ensembles and a filmmaker from that country. We then select 4 American communities. And when I say American communities, I don't mean just big cities like Chicago and New York and Atlanta and Dallas. Those are wonderful places that often get to engage with this work anyway. We're in Lawrence, Kansas right now, and it gives the communities that are selected multiple engagement opportunities so that it isn't just a visitation and then a departure. It is a season-long celebration of a culture. We've decided to make a movie where we're going to track the whole season of Caravanserai Turkey in one place, in this case Lawrence, Kansas. And what that means is artist interviews will be filmed, and we will talk with the artists before their work and after their work here to see how they've been affected and impacted by what's happening and their experience here in America. We have selected 3 people in the community here from a broad spectrum of Lawrence's diverse population to be subjects for us, to be people that are our Caravanserai audience.
My name is Esra Kesici, and I was born in Germany to Turkish parents.
I decided to choose the University of Kansas for their pharmacy program, actually.
I think I put redneck, kind of hillbilly. I mean, that's kind of who we are. We go to country music concerts. I mean, that's really the biggest bulk of things that we do that I would consider cultural.
Later on, I found myself here in the US. I came here to pursue an MA and then later on a PhD in linguistics.
I think kids my age have varying opinions on the Muslim culture. I mean, a lot of us grew up, I mean, at a time when we start remembering stuff. We remember 9/11, so we immediately associate like the Middle East, the Muslim religion, with that. But so it's like a hot spot for my age.
I don't know. I think it means something different to me now here in the US than when I was back in Turkey. I mean, in Turkey it's just, you know, Muslim, it's just any other word. Here in America, I'm not sure what, I mean, Muslim has some other connotations as well.
That they're all violent, that they, that somehow Muslims don't worship God, that their God is different. But I believe from my religious studies so many years ago in college that it's probably the same God. I feel like that there are a lot of similarities in most religions and they all have that one central being. So I guess, I don't know that I'm unchurched because I'm disenfranchised, but I kind of feel that we're fighting about the wrong things.
It is good to let the people experience the real people face to face, make their own experience, what kind of people they are, you know, rather than hearing all the news talking blah 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 blah, evoking the against, just motivated them falsely, misinformation. So we're getting them hand to hand experience what kind of people these are. These are really violent people, or terrorists, or peace lover people.
Our work this year with Turkey, with artists from Turkey, has been incredible. We started off our season with Omar Faruk Tekbalek, who is actually a US-based Turkish musician, a very celebrated world music legend who is incredibly popular in Turkey, spends half his time touring Turkey and making music there. And he's sharing his Sufi tradition that he's based in. He's just this really warm, spiritual man.
She sparked in my mind because I played in so many great places in Australia, in Sydney, the big opera house, and so many places in the world. But I said yesterday I had a performance with the kids, like jewels. That was the best audience, best performance that I felt.
It's not often that you have an artist come to your school and perform for you in your school, and you go home and tell your mom about it, and then later in the week you can still go to a concert, or you can still go to another engagement that that artist is performing at, or that you might see that artist at the store later that week shopping, or you might see that artist at the restaurant having dinner, and you can say hi, and they can say hi back. And you can think about each other as more than just an artist coming to do a concert or a filmmaker coming to show their film, and see them as people and see each other as people.
But the music was really great. Felt like I should be getting a massage half the time and dancing the other half. Incorporating some different rhythms, I felt like. A lot of the drumming at the first part was, it seemed the same. So I felt like they kind of mixed it up a little more. And, maybe it's the same as Taylor Swift sounding the same to them every single song, or,
So for me, the most memorable part of the concert was the reaction of the audience, the American audience. This was the first time I saw an American audience react to Turkish music, to the sounds that I'm familiar with, I grew up with.
It's opened my eyes to a different part of the world that I've never really got to experience or learn firsthand by interacting with people from that region. So it's very exciting.
Our second artist that performed as part of Caravanserai Turkey is Pelin Esmer. And Pelin has this wonderful film called Watchtower that she makes. And she's a wonderful example, too, of a dynamic, independent, strong-voiced female filmmaker out in the world. Someone I think that people, even in the film industry in America, might not understand is out there, making really dynamic, incredible work. We were very lucky to have her. This movie is a powerful film. It is a story of the human spirit. It captures contemporary issues and traditional issues that are common in Turkish society, and challenges people and the viewer to learn from them and to grow. It's not always a comfortable film to watch, but you learn from it, and it's real. It's a wonderful bit of storytelling.
And what I really liked in this Caravanserai program is I've been traveling a lot with my film, with my previous films and these films, mostly to the festivals all around the world. But this is quite unique because now I got to meet people not necessarily from the world of film, because in the festivals you generally meet the film people and people interested in films. But here I met very different people. I mean, here in Lawrence I had a chance to meet the high school kids. I had a chance to meet some gentlemen who are trying to write scripts. I had the chance to meet people of Lawrence who are not necessarily related to films, but interested in seeing the films. So
what do you think is the best advice for young filmmakers like us?
Keep your curiosity and grow it even more.
I think it's important in the sense that the audiences here get to see, not just to see about Turkish music and male artists, but also about Turkish film and female artists.
Actually, I wouldn't describe it very much as a Turkish traditional, but still you could feel the cultures.
The ending was a surprise to me. It wasn't the Hollywood ending that I expected. You get used to that. The friend that I took with me, when it was over, I said, "Oh, that was abrupt," and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's how you know it was an artsy film."
There were very intense moments where I felt like it was just me and the main characters. Particularly the scene where she gave birth was very intense. It had me on the edge of my seat.
And her explanation at the end of the question and answer about how she wanted us to really live in the moment of that film and not think about the past or the present or the future, but just sort of the moment and the silence and how it speaks volumes. Was pretty interesting to me.
Our final artist of the Caravanserai Turkey season is Ayşenur Kolovar, who is incredible. She sings folk songs from the Black Sea region of Turkey. It's a totally different part of Turkey than Omar Faruk Tekbilek is from, and she is a passionate folklorist who is curating and saving a tradition in the same breath. And then she's telling stories about, this was the first song I learned with my mother, and this is how I learned Greek, and this is how I became an academic. She's a professor, and this is how I became a folklorist who studies all of this work and is wanting to share it with you now.
From Turkey, and our country has a huge number of ethnic and religious cultures in it.
Başımdan çeşani bir göreyim yüzünü, bir göreyim yüzünü, bir göreyim
My birthplace. And Çayeli means also where
Tea.
Do most young people listen or play traditional music, or do they more pop music?
New generation learns much more playing kemençe, bagpipe, which are traditional instruments. But there are fusion kinds of musics. We call Karadeniz rock, which is Black Sea rock.
We have a long distance from Turkey to Europe, US. It's also important. There are lots of communities that Muslims, Turks, Pontian peoples, Armenians, and to introduce our music and culture is of course important for me.
I like much this old folk music because I think there is a big power in the folk music, and it's all the folk music, universal. And coming here and singing our songs for people living here, when I sing, feel the peoples from Black Sea.
And I love meeting the other people from other cultures. It's important for me to learn how they eat, how they cry, how they love. When you say Turkey, or they thinking about one language, one culture, unique things, you know. The important thing is to change their perceptions about this and to destroy their prejudices about Turkey.
What I especially liked about it was the fact that the musicians sang in languages other than Turkish. And I think it's important to show this cultural diversity of Turkey to the American audiences.
I've heard accordion music before, which I kind of thought was interesting because I didn't know that was something that Turkish culture used in their music, which kind of struck me.
I liked the male singers. I kind of tended to like them a little better, their performances. It surprised me that you have an idea of what Turkey is, but all of these performances tended to make me think, okay, well, they look exactly like us. They act exactly like us. The guy in the middle looked like an IT guy. He had his goatee and his khakis on.
The other memorable event for me was when the audience went on stage and danced together with the musicians, and this was very special to me because despite the gap in the music culture, despite the gap in language, in history and everything else, we had people from two different countries connecting. What I thought was great with respect to this project was that we had two women artists here visiting Lawrence. And so first we had Pelin Esmer, a great filmmaker, and then Ayşen Kolivar, a great musician. And being a woman myself, I felt really proud of them, not only because they were women and doing great things in Turkey, but also because it showed American audiences that women in Turkey do great things.
There is still a very big contingent of people who think anything different is bad. They're suspicious of Muslims and anybody that's not Christian. And what I found out is that I actually have Muslim friends that I didn't even know were Muslim. So I guess there are varying degrees of Muslim. I feel like I've always been pretty tolerant, but I know that some of my relatives aren't. And if they knew, if they could go and see that people are just the same, then I think it would do them a lot of good.
It's really kind of encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone and do different things that maybe I wouldn't have done. I don't know if it's like trying a different type of food, or if I see something that's from a different culture, maybe looking into it more, or taking a class that has to do with a different culture. That would be really fun.
To see how people from different cultures can connect because of music or film. Yeah, I think that's something that I'm going to take away from it.
I always say our mission is above ideology and politics. We let the people actually forget this life, lift them up, then let them experience we are one soul.
So it really creates two-way cultural engagement where Each ensemble that comes through these communities and each filmmaker that comes through these communities gets to see a part of America that might not be part of their narrative that they're experiencing in their country. And they get to learn more about us and about who we are, and hopefully take some of that back with them. The idea being that maybe through live arts experiences and through live cultural experiences that we can make better tomorrows happen.